Hello, this is Godo. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. Since last time, I have done some upgrades around the around the base. Whoops. I upgraded a bunch of the tanks down here to the industrial foregoing black hole tanks, just because they can hold way more. They can hold 2 million buckets each, which is a pretty good amount, if I don't say so myself. And that's let some of our passive processing things, like electrolyzing minerals that have oxygen and um, such, oxygen, hydrogen, let's just let those kind of accumulate, chlorine. So we have a bunch of that stuff just kind of near, or not near, but collected now. And over here as well, I also upgraded our oil drum over here, and I went and moved our oil pump because our oil pump was dry. It had been dry for a while, but I'll come back to that in a second. Another thing I did was I made the Naquita line semi-passive. So over here, instead of having the first step of the Naquita line where you put the fluoroantimonic acid into the chemical reactor with Naquita, I built its own chemical reactor over here, and I used this level emitter. I've never used this functionality of a level emitter with a crafting card. Basically, if there's an item that needs trinium sulfide, so i.e., it needs to cook up some trinium, you're able to put a redstone card, and that's going to turn on this level emitter. And what that level emitter is doing is that it's turning this toggle bus on, which is allowing Naquita to come in here, and then that's going to start the whole processing chain. So it's kind of like a semi-automated way to turn the chain on and off. And also, while I was down here, I put a lever down here just in case I want to turn it on manually. So if I flip that lever, it's just going to turn on that hatch, and then it's going to start processing the Naquita line manually. But for now, I was running it all night last night, so we have a good amount of trinium. Well, we did. I used it to make the ingredients for our fusion reactor. So our fusion reactor is now up here. All the parts of it, anyways. So this thing is ready to go. We're ready to build it. There's two variations you can do. You can do one with glass on the sides or just the solid machine casings. But these machine casings are a lot more expensive. So I'm using glass where we can. And yeah, this is ready to put together. And let me finish talking about what else I changed over here. I built the multi-block assembler. So the way I have the assembler set up is that there is a point-to-point tunnel here, and that's still hooked up to all of my point-to-points that I had hooked up near my controller. But I only have recipes that do not use a program circuit going into here. And then from here, it sucks into the input bus and the input hatch that is adjacent to this buffer. And the hope is that it doesn't have any crafting recipe collisions, but if it does, I'll sort those out when we get to them. And then on the other side, I have just a regular interface, and that is also touching a input hatch. I've had to put some items in here because I was trying to put items in here over and over, so I just put some items to block the items from coming in here. Hopefully this is... Oh, this is actually an item that goes in an assembler, huh? What if I swap these items around? There we go. Oh man, cell also goes in assembler. But that's for empty spray can, and I have not made empty spray can, and I probably don't want to, so that's probably fine like this. I could also put here, I could put the water bucket in there, put a water cell in here, and then get a water bucket and stick the water bucket in there. There, now the item slots are blocked and there's no way to put items in here. Like, this cannot go. Nothing stacks with water bucket. It's a one stack item. And then the input bus over here, this has a program circuit card in it. And the reason I've done this is because with the parallel control hatch, we can do parallel recipes in here, but we can't do parallel recipes if we have blocking mode enabled. Ooh, that doesn't even have blocking mode enabled. Good catch. Anyways, we cannot do parallel recipes with blocking mode because it's only ever going to have one item in the hatch, in the bus, I mean. So by having we only basically are using this in place of our up tier assembler over here. So this assembler we have over here, we don't need it anymore. It's pretty much useless. We're done with this one. When we get to ZPM, we're going to need it for a bit so that we can make the ZPM energy hatch. And then we can toss the ZPM energy hatch over here. That will upgrade the tier of these recipes, and that'll be all set. But I still have over here the Ivy one set up, and down in the basement over here, I have a different P2P now. Let's see if I can find it here. So this is for the assembler multi-block. You notice that one did not have the program circuit cards in it. Here we go. This is assembler single block with circuits. So anything that uses a circuit is going to go into this interface there, and that's just still going to use the single block. That's going to use the single block assembler still. And then while we're talking about assemblers, I also fixed that issue where, like, after a network flicker or a server restart, the P2P would stop accepting outputs to be pushed back into it, back to the interface at the input side of this. I don't know why that was happening, but I've just fixed that just by adding an interface over here with a pipe going in for these two circuit assemblers up there, and then on the bottom, same thing. We just have an interface beneath here, and pipe is sending items into that interface. So that's going to fix that issue permanently. And we will be upgrading our circuit assembler once we get to the ZPM age. We're going to make the multi-block circuit assembler. But I decided to go ahead and fix this now because we had extra channels on this line. Since we removed a lot of machines back here, we didn't need so many channels, so I was able to use a couple channels to just put some interfaces and catch those. And then finally, I upgraded and rated my power substation a little bit. So you'll probably notice that it's on the ceiling now and it's pointed downwards instead. That's because I wanted to be able to expand it and add more layers to it, and I did add more layers. I added 3 more layers. So now we can see the 3 additional layers in there, and also there's how tall we can make it if we go completely unhinged and we want to make it that tall, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. And you can't just build the structure and then have it empty. You have to have some kind of placeholder in there, so I'm not going to fill it up if we don't have anything to fill it with. But yeah, that's going to be what I did between last episode. Really crafting those fusion components took a long time, so... And it took a long amount of power, so I like stored up a bunch of power overnight and then set this to run, and like it just drained it in minutes when I was running the EBFs down here in the alloy blast smelter. But yeah, today we are going to be setting up the fusion reactor, and we're also going to be looking at upgrading fuel production. And next time we'll probably look at upgrading fuel processing, or that is our generators. So without further ado, let's go and set up our fusion reactor. So here's all the stuff we need for the fusion reactor. Clear that memory card really quick before I do something horrible with it. Alright, there we go. Alright, and we got some achievements. Cool, I think we get a new... Yep, okay, thank you. We get some fusion rotor holders, or not fusion, but rotor holders for a turbine. We also get some machine casings and some fusion machine casings. Those are actually like crazy. Those are very expensive to make, so I'm glad to get those. Put those away. And then some pad thai, which I don't care. You can just go in the trash can. And then we also had a progression goal we just hit over here. We got the fusion trophy, so I'm gonna stick that up over here now. Replace what we had. Well, I think there were some other trophies that I hadn't collected here. No, I guess I got these trophies before. Alright, well the next trophy is there's not really a next trophy in this chapter, but the creative storage key, and that creative storage key is obtained by getting to the middle of the creative chapter, or the final goals chapter. So we have a lot of things here to do. Most of these are not super duper difficult. Flux sponge I did at some point, because I had my little Thaumcraft set up down there in the basement. It was getting a little unruly, and it made a danger noodle, as people call them, I guess. I don't know. And we've done this one a while ago. So yeah, we are still needing the Infinity AE cell, which requires Crystal Matrix is not a big deal, but the Infinity block is. Um, Quantum Link card is pretty easy. We could probably make that now. Chaotic Core is gonna be a thing because we need to go fight we need to go fight a Chaos Guardian for that. So that's gonna be a thing. UU matter. Oh, UU matter we can do now. Actually, hold on. Bucket. We can do literally right now. There we go. All right, UU matter is done, and that gave us another cell of UU matter, which I will gladly throw into storage. All right. Go back to the chapter. So that one's done now. Endus Pearl, I don't think I really want this in my inventory. I don't want to blow a hole in my base. Large Plasma Turbine, we could make that. We probably will make that at some point. The LUV Diesel Generator we will make. Next episode, probably Neutronium. That's something we're going to have to go work on still. But I have been preparing TNT for compressing it, so every time our toluene would get pretty full, I would just tell our system to make a whole bunch of TNT. So right now we have 20,000 TNT, and I can just be like, hey, craft another 2,000 TNT right now. Go. So there it goes, crafting 2,000 more TNT. Just use a sugar toluene, which comes from toluene, of course, and then polyethylene pulp. So pretty straightforward stuff. We need to get this neural processing unit, which we're going to need for the next layer, next tier of chapters, not chapters, circuits. Everlasting Pool, we're close to that. We only need infinity ingots for that. That one's not really like as amazing as it sounds. It's just like, woohoo, infinite mana pool. Mana's kind of infinite though already because Nitro Diesel goes crazy, am I right? But anyways, let us go and do our fusion reactor now. So our fusion reactor, one of the first things I'm going to want to mate with it is the thing that we can use to power our base with, because power is a big issue right now. So LUV diesel generator, if we go to it, it requires this new fluid called Starlight Coolant Plasma. And we're going to be needing 80 millibuckets per, well, 800 millibuckets per 5 seconds. So we need, how much is that? 80 divided by 5, 1400? No, sorry, 140. Gee, my brain's a little fried right now. Okie dokie. So let's get our fusion reactor set up. It's a pretty big multi-block. Yeah, so I was thinking to set it up back here, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have how many fusion reactors we're gonna have, when we're gonna make more, etc. But for now, we're gonna set this up back here because my plan is we need Starlight coolant plasma to be able to cool our what's it called, diesel generator. So here we go. This looks like a good a spot as any. And yeah, now I can just start putting it together. And I think actually I have something called a GT terminal, and inside of it there is some tools in here. There's multi-block, well, not multi-block, a guide, but you can actually add like some tools to this, and it's kind of like a multi-tool for GregTech. Haven't really talked about it on this series so far. I haven't really used it too much. I don't really like it too much, but it is like a thing. So for example, I can go to the GT console, and now we can modify our fusion controller. We can modify the front of the block, the side of the block, where it auto outputs, etc. if it were a normal machine. We have a thing in here, I believe, not Hardware Manager. We can go to the App Store, and there's a multi-block helper. Let's see what we need for that. We need 4 HV emitters and 2 workstations. Oh, geez, hopefully it accepts regular EV circuits because we don't have workstations anymore. Workstation, yeah, we don't have those. Let's see if we can get the emitters. So 4 of these. Ooh, emitter, we don't have the recipe set up to use the correct kind of circuit for that. Emitter should just be emitter this one right here. Let's re-encode this with the... Hello, please re-encode with the correct circuits. There we go. All right, so now we can craft 4 of those. Oh, we don't have chrome rods either. Jeez, come on. Chrome rods go in the lathe. And do we have chrome ingot? We do have chrome ingot. Okay, so lathe and emitter. So 4 of these. And then it said 4 EV circuits. It says 4 workstation. So that would be quantum chips, quantum processors. We're gonna see if this works, and you know what? If it doesn't work, I can give myself a mulligan here, and I'm just gonna exchange these for the workstations. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It should work by all means, but we'll give it a go here in a second. Once these circuits finish crafting up, should only take a few more seconds. All right. All right, App Store. Whoops. Go down to the multi-block helper. Requires workstation times 2, of course. And I made 4 instead of 2. So nobody's going to complain if I do this, right? Workstation. Just change my 2 EV circuits to that tier. That seems like fair, right? It really should accept any kind of chip, but... Alright, there we go. Now we have multi-blocker installed. Multi-block helper. And now we can go in here. We have... Where is it? Multi-block helper. Oh, we need a camera as well. Okay. See how little I've used this. I don't even know how to use this dang thing. Camera. So here it is. Ew, we're definitely auto-crafting that. It needs a diamond lens too? Okay. Alright, so that goes in an assembler. That can just go into our regular assemblers because it doesn't use a circuit. And then what do we need for that? We probably need the diamond lens, right? We need the diamond lens and an LV emitter. Okay. LV emitter is no big deal. We don't know how to make brass rods either, so I better automate that. Lathe. For the diamond, I'm just going to grab a diamond plate and throw that in our lathe really quick. Lathe is up here, right? Are you lathe? You are lathe. Okay. Diamond plate goes in for you, and we should have our camera ready to go. Or the ingredients for it ready to go, at least. Alright. Oh, yeah. I guess it needs to make the LV circuits, too. Those components should be really fast to craft, though, so... Alright, there it goes. Camera done. What can we do with this? Can we just, like, use it? Nope. I guess you can put it in here, is what you do. So you go in the hardware manager, and we're going to add the camera. So now we have a camera on this. And now we can go down here and open that multi-block helper. There we go. So we can open AR camera. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know why we would do this instead of just, like, you know, instead of just, like, right-clicking it to make the ghost. Maybe that's not, like, always enabled. Anyways, let's go back in here and we can do 3D Builder. So, can we do automatic build? I also don't know what this color thing does here. Color, alpha. Place block. Place block. What did it do? Wait, whoa, that's not correct. Maybe this isn't gonna work. Automatic build? Hey, there it goes. Okay. So that put together most of the reactor. So these are all going to be glass. So let me pick those up. And we seem to be missing some glass here. Do I have more fusion glass in storage? Why can't I see it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I do not. But why am I missing glass? I'm confused. was pretty sure I made enough. Fusion reactor should take a total of 31. Oh, you know why? Because these energy hatches are... No, wait, those should be accounted for as well. These output hatches. Okay, it's the output hatches. So input hatches go here and here. Output hatches, we are going to stick those on now. So the output hatches go on the inside of the ring, like this. Whoops, I didn't mean to take the controller out of there. And we are just going to throw as many of these as we can because these are so much cheaper than the actual, than the regular blocks. So I'm going to just put output hatches where we can. When it put the input hatches for us. I don't know why I didn't do the same for output hatches, but... Alright, let's get my fusion glass here. This should be fusion glass there. These two should be output hatches. Then this should be fusion glass. Alright, over here should be output hatches. Okay, one slight annoying thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back and put a filter in all of those to not be getting random... Oh shoot, how do we put the glass there? Not be getting random fluids showing up in those. Okay, so... Just checking our structure. Everything here looks good so far. Here we go. We want this one and those two. I guess our energy hatch ended up back here. I don't really... I probably want the energy hatch kind of up front, so I'm going to grab this one. Where did our other energy hatch go? I had two of them. Oh, it's still in my inventory. Okay. I'm just going to toss the energy hatches here. You can have up to 16 energy hatches, but they all have to be LVV energy hatches or higher. So I was like, let's just have 2. Okay, that seems like the amount of glass I remember making. I should have had 1 extra. So now can I just tell it to auto-build the rest? Automatic build. Automatic build. Okay, is it done? Alright. Hello? Are you set up properly? Invalid structure. Okay, it must have been set up properly. Okay, so for the output hatches, really quick, let me just get, like, water bucket, and let me make sure water bucket doesn't come out of a fusion reactor. Didn't think that was going to be a thing I had to check today, but... Alright, so we're going to lock all of these to water that we do not want having outputs come out of. I'll leave these two as our designated outputs for now. So water, 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 water. I will come back once I've gone around the whole ring. Okay, and that's the last one. And then these two I'm just going to leave unfiltered because these are going to be where we actually want to make our thing, our stuff. Let's get a flux point over here. Flux point. Yoink. Stick it in here. We're going to call this Fusion 1, just in case we have multiple at some point. Alright, hook it up, and there we go. Oh, wait, why is it taking the power right now? Oh, you know what? That's right. This has a buffer that it needs to charge, so it just charged the buffer, it looks like. Yeah, now it's holding the power in the cells there. So this needed to charge an internal buffer here. So we can put... just looking at this here really quick. So we can do max EU per tick of 32768. Fusion reactor. So that is because we have LUV energy hatches on it. And I don't think we can overclock this, right? Can we overclock it? I'm a bit unsure because we have 2 energy hatches on it, right? If I put 1 energy hatch on it. Yeah, it's still the max amount of EU per tick here. So let me see if overclock's double energy and half the duration. Yeah, that's normally how overclock's worth. No, overclock's normally 4 times the energy, right? Let me look up how overclocks work on this thing really quick. Maybe it doesn't do ZPM recipes. Maybe that's the... Here, let me look through the recipes really quick. No, the Mark II and Mark III dictate how much buffer it has, how much power buffer. So right now we have... Okay, that's what the energy hatches are for. So we have a total power buffer right now of 10 million, and when we had this extra energy hatch in here, we had a power buffer of 20 million. Yeah, see, 20 million now. So based on what recipe we want to do is going to control how many energy hatches we're going to need on this thing. All right, well, let's see what we want to make. So what are we going to need to make? We need europium is the first thing we need. So that's going to be coming from liquid neodymium and hydrogen gas. Oh, yuck. 15? 15? We're going to need 15 energy hatches. Okay, start cooking those up. Energy hatch. We need 13 more. And we cannot use multi-amp energy hatches. We have to use the single block amps. Alright, well, good start. So europium we're going to need 15 for. What else are we going to want, though? So europium is so that we can start making europium things. Europium is what we need for ZPM components. Neutronium. We're going to need that at some point, but that's a different kind of neutronium than the one that comes from the chickens. So starlight. Starlight. We want the starlight coolant plasma. So that is only 40. And also, this is a pretty cheap recipe. So with this at IV tier, we're going to be able to do 1 cycle of this. In IV tier, it's 1 second. So at LUV tier, it's going to be half a second. So we're going to be able to get 500 liters per second. And we need... How many would we need? So I think it was 800 divided by 5. Yeah, so it's 800 every 5 seconds. So that's 160 a second. So with one fusion reactor, we could support one LUV fusion reactor. We could support 3 of these LUV diesel generators just for the coolant plasma. All right, good to know. And we'll be able to put that in as soon as we have what's it called? Those energy hatches. We need at least 4 for that coolant plasma. What other plasmas might we want to make here? Let's see. So helium plasma is this is a fuel that you could put in a large plasma turbine. Oxygen plasma is a plasma fuel turbine as well. Most of these you can just shove into most of them you can just shove into a turbine. Iron plasma. Yeah, that's intense, right? Nickel plasma. Argon plasma. Americium. Ooh, americium plasma. We could make liquid americium with a Mark II reactor, or we could make americium plasma. That gets a lot of power out of the plasma fuel, so... But let's keep looking. Tin. Europium is what we need as a material. Liquid americium. Here's liquid osmium. That's actually not bad. Liquid osmium. If we need osmium though, but this is molten silver, molten copper. 3.2 seconds to make. That's 1 nugget worth, right? Yeah. Actually, that's kind of expensive. I don't know. We'll see. Uranium, plutonium, other plutonium, chrome. Duranium is one of those what's it called? Exotic fusion metals. And I think we do need uranium for something. We need it for if we wanted to make tritanium. Tritanium is what I was mixing up with trinium earlier. So tritanium, that's a tier 2 metal. And I think geranium itself is used for something, right? Geranium. Maybe not? I could have sworn I saw an item that required geranium something earlier. Oh, here you go. You need the geranium saw for the geranium for the Z. You need it for the ZPM? No, this isn't ZPM. This is UHV, sorry. Which I don't think we're going to be making because we can't actually craft these UHV electric motors. They are disabled or they do not have a recipe set. I swore there was something that I saw geranium was used for. Besides those, like the tools. This is a pretty impressive hype and pretty impressive tools, though. Okay, maybe not that impressive. High durability, not so much in mining speed. Was there anything else that geranium was used for? I just want to see because I'm like, do we need to make it? If so, how much do we need to make? Oh, here we go. Geranium. We need geranium dust to make molten enriched naquita trinium europium durandium. I don't know. So we need the dust at some point. So we would need to like make it into an ingot and then grind down the dust. Okay, that's enough looking at fusion metals. Let's start fusion. Let's start fusing some stuff. So the inputs are always on the top and bottom. So the inputs are up here and down here, and then the outputs are always on the sides. In this case, I am going to put. Do we have something where we can get some channels nearby over here? Some kind of line of machines with channels. So this is 22 channels coming down here. 13 go this way. And then how many come this way? 5 come down this way. Let's go and bring a... Let's bring these dense cables down a little further. And then we're going to need to paint some stuff here. So let's get some dense cables. Whoops. Get my painting brush. All right, let's go. We're not going to need that connection there. We're going to need to paint this one here and then put a dense cable up here and then paint that one a different color. All right, and then the rest can just connect normally. All right, let's bring this. We don't need a terrible amount of channels here, so let me just... Yeah, we actually don't need all of those to be dense at all. Let me just convert them into smart cables. Because we only have 10 channels on this entire line anyways, and we're not going to need that many channels over here, I don't think. Okay. Whoops, 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 whoops. Making too many holes over here. And messing with our network does not break our assembler anymore. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so we have this over here. One thing that's annoying about fusion reactors is you gotta start and stop them, and that consumes a bunch of power every time you do that. So every time you run them, you gotta make sure it's worth it. Okay, so that's our output. Here's our input. Let's do a fluid interface up here. Interface of fluids. Need to make one. Should be a quick craft. I also have a... Oh, I have a flat fluid interface here. Well, now we have an extra one. So fluid interface, we are going to need helium and starlight. So let's get helium, bloop, and then starlight, bloop. And then we can't lock these, right? Can we lock the input of these guys? I don't think you can lock the input of an input hatch, so we will need to use filters. I will use fluid filters and Ender IO conduit. Fluid conduits. Here we go. All right, you're going to insert with a filter, and you are going to insert with a filter. And let's do starlight over here, and let's do helium over here. Helium. Wait, is it liquid helium or? Ooh, it's liquid helium. Uh, okay. I'm not sure how we're using fusion and making something that's 1 Kelvin, but I'm not gonna complain. So we need liquid helium, huh? Interesting. I can probably actually take that from over here, right? There's an output hatch that has helium sitting in it, liquid helium. So what I can do is let me let me delete this pipe right here and replace it with an interface. And then there's some wasted interfaces here, obviously, but I'm going to put a fluid storage bus here. Fluid storage here. We're going to steal the helium out of here. Let me go look at where helium is on our other set of vacuum freezers. Maybe it's in a place that we could also borrow from. But I think I have it like stuck on the inside, right? Like it's here. No, that's our main input for the multi-block, huh? Where's our helium over here? I forget how I built this thing. This is a complicated multi-block of multi-things. Okay, there's our liquid helium, but that's the input hatch, so we would have to take it out of an output hatch. Okay, it's not being stored in an output hatch over here. We can't take it from over there. You can only take out of an output hatch. You can't take from an input hatch. Okay, so liquid helium. Let's lock that to liquid helium. And this is going to be a low priority storage, so it takes from... Wait. It's going to be a high priority, so it takes from other places first. It takes from lower priority places. Okay, so now we can put liquid helium. Oh, wait, why is it not putting it yet? Probably because I didn't turn on the conduit on this end, huh? All right, there goes our liquid helium. And how much does it use again? Uses 125. And how fast do you make this stuff? 3 seconds, and you make how much? 1,000. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to turn this on and see if this thing works. I'm going to need to run more power in here, but for now, not EV, LUV energy hatches. For now, let me go ahead and install these other energy hatches. I'm probably gonna change how I have these hatches oriented or something. Alright, and then we can have 2 more over here. And then this is the 15th one, and then there's just one kind of awkwardly by itself. Okay, so if we are sending power to all of these guys, if we were using one cable, it would be... How do we send the power, I guess? Whoa. Well, I guess they don't need to be hooked up, is the thing. Okay then. Well, we are running fusion now. Whoa, that's cool. Okay, we are fusing. What are we fusing? Where's our outputs? We decided this one, right? Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. It's filling up quite quickly. Let's put a tank here. Black hole tank. This is going to have some opportunity to run for a good while before we actually need it. So that we'll have a little stockpile. But how's our helium holding up here? I should probably just run the math rather than trying to eyeball it, huh? Okay, so we are using... So it's only doing the IV recipe. I'm a little confused about how that's working exactly. Let me make another LUV energy hatch. Maybe it can only do recipe tiers based on the energy hatch you give it. Like you can't up tier with the energy hatch. That might be it. Let me go look at is there a guide in here actually? Let's see if we can see a guide in here. Multi-block guides. Fusion reactor. Oh, it's blank. Cool. um Let me go look it up on like a wiki. Be right back. Okay, so the Mark 1 reactor gets 10 um it gets 10 million power per energy hatch, 20 for Mark 2 and then 40 for Mark 3. Mark A needs or Mark 1 needs LUV, ZPM or UV hatches. Mark 2 needs ZPM or UV and Mark 3 needs UV only. And then let's see here. Does not say anything about overclocking on this page. Alright, well, as far as I can see, there is, it doesn't seem to be a way to overclock this, so let me go and look at the recipe again for Starlight. So I think this is a Mark 1. If I'm understanding this, this is a Mark 1 recipe, so to overclock it, I need to be in Mark 2. I think that's how it works. Maybe? I might not be understanding properly. But anyways, this is now running, and how much Starlight do we have over here? Already 82 buckets. Great. That would be enough to leave our reactor running for like 10 minutes almost. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to upgrade our fuel because I don't know if you see this fuel over here, but this tank was full at some point and it is like over halfway empty now, and that's scary. So let's go ahead and like fix that issue, yeah? Getting rid of some extra pipes over here really quick. Really, at this point, I should just replace all of these with, really should just replace all of these with, what's it called? Logistic pipe system. Why don't I just go ahead and do that? Yeah, let's do that really quick. I'd been wanting to upgrade this to logistic pipe anyways. Okay. We don't need liquid starlight here. We don't need a liquid starlight tank here. Though, actually, hang on. Who was getting liquid starlight? Oh, geez. Maybe I did want that tank there. That tank was here, right? Right here? Nope. It just didn't connect to anything. It must have been here, then. Yeah, there's liquid starlight machine right next to it. Okay. So you take the liquid starlight. What other fluids do we need over here? So you need tetranitromethane. So you can share the same line as this line, I think. Let me just let me just do this one thing at a time, yeah? Get rid of the pipes first. Let me see what we're having done over here. So we have canola chicken. Honestly, I think we could just move these to our chicken area, and then we could do some of this processing in our main machines. It's gonna be faster, I think. Crystallized seeds here. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's go suck this into our main system from somewhere. Do I still have the input bus here? I do, yes. Okay, so that should suck all of those items into our system. I don't need these chests here anymore. I was using those chests there to test that I understood how the item storage buses worked properly. The dictionary ones, or dictionary. Me trying to thread the needle to get into my storage from behind the wall. I don't think it's going to take us that long to... Me, when I deposit the thing I'm trying to fill the wall in with. I don't think it's going to take us that long to fix storage over here. Not storage, fuel. Are there items on the floor over here? Why? I don't know where those cards went. That's fine. Module? Where were the modules that were in this chassis? Am I, like, going crazy? Huh, magnet's not picking anything up. Oh, well. Okay. What are the chickens doing at this point for the logistics system? Because I took fluorine eggs away as well, and I took gassy eggs away. So are you using the chickens for anything? I don't think these are pulling anything for the chickens anymore from over here. Are there any chicken eggs in any of these machines? Nope. I've gotten rid of most of my logistic pipes. It's just part of AE now, so. Alright, don't need this pipe anymore either. Let me see what this system is over here. Terminating saltwater. Are you still inserting saltwater over here? Still inserting saltwater. Okay, we're not going to mess with that right now. We're going to leave that as is. This is good enough of a cleanup for now. Okay, so let's first, before I do anything else, let me get a drawer. And then the upgrade for the drawer, and then a void upgrade. Alright, grab all of those. Stick our new drawer over here. Get our key and lock it. Key. I didn't mean to put that away in our storage. I keep that in my baggie. Alright, here we go. Mineral chicken goes there. Canola chicken's gonna go here. Whoops, here. Now we should have some mineral and canola eggs here. You're gonna go, you and you is gonna be your new homes. And then we are going to get a drawer. Wait, did I not make one of those? Oh, I already put it in. Okay. Okay, we're good. I wasn't going crazy. Yep, and I just like to have the drawer upgrades at the front and the void upgrade in the back. All right, so now we are getting canola and mineral eggs into our main storage. These only pull the eggs when they have a full stack, so it doesn't like spam pull items and push items. All right, so now we need... This isn't doing anything anymore. I'm not gonna do this process down here. Do I want to do this down here? I think I will do mineral resin in my big centrifuge. So we're going to do some of these steps outside of this processing chain because we can do it much faster with our multi-block machines. So let me pick this machine up, pick this machine up. Let me take care of this portable tank really quick. Dump the starlight. How is our starlight, by the way? Yo, our starlight production is going crazy. 182,000 buckets? That's crazy. Those Vintium. Yeah, I mean, I want to go check how many Vintium crystals we had. We remember that I put a bunch of Vintium out here a few episodes ago. Let's see how many we have left. Fly up to our Starlight platform. If you are playing this mod pack and you have problems with Starlight, the answer is not necessarily spamming more light wells, but it might just be upgrading what you're burning in the light wells. So, yeah, do you see this? There's still like, it's only pulled a few, so it was full up to here, right? It's only used like 2 or 3 stacks. That's crazy. Goodbye, sawdust. Okay, I'm probably gonna, like, walk by that area at some point in the future and pick up the stardust. How's our liquid starlight coolant going? 205,000 buckets. Nice. 205 buckets, not 205,000. Whoops. Okay, so, chemical bath and chemical reactor. We're also going to do those steps in here. We will probably... Do we want to leave this step in here? The mixture step? So we do need crystallized canola seeds to be over here available for turning the oil into stuff, unless we also pull the oil in. Um, let me just pull this into our system, these two steps, and then the rest we will leave out here for now. For now, if we need to move it later, we can. But for now, I will keep it out here. So we need mineral crystal. Do you already know how to do this? Oh, you do. Wait, no, that's using mineral wood. We want to use the eggs specifically. So in the compressor you go, and then let's just parallelize it to like a stack at a time. So compressor. And then we want... Why do we not have mineral eggs? Hold on. Oh, I know why we don't have mineral eggs. I forgot over here there's a storage bus, and you have to tell it what it's allowed to pull on there. Canola seed. Okay, so now I can see the eggs that are in that drawer. So the mineral crystals, they go in a centrifuge. We don't care about the methane. We don't care about any of those. Actually, we already have this recipe, right? Mineral? Okay, and it makes in quantities of 600. Let's have it use a whole stack at a time instead. So let me increase it to... Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have used the 3 times button. There we go. 16 a drop of mineral resin. All right, and then you're going to go back into the centrifuge multi-block. Okay, next step is to mix it with canola, right? So this is a chemical bath recipe. Let's put... How big is the input hatch in our chemical bath? Our multi-block chemical bath, that is. 128 buckets. We don't need that many. We did 16 buckets for the other one, so let's just do a similar number here. What size of input bus do we have? Input bus size is big. Okay. Oh, I don't think I showed this off, but I made a little... I put an item detector cover over here just to turn off this input hatch that's feeding the ore processing. So if any items come in here for actual processing, it will cut the ore processing temporarily to let the items that came in for crafting. Okay, so we are... I think 256 is more than enough canola seeds, to be honest. So chemical bath. Ooh, I didn't name the chemical bath, did I? I'm like, where is it in my interface list? And I lost my quartz knife as well. At some point, I accidentally deposited a bunch of stuff that was in my inventory into my storage, so I'm still, like, finding items. Okay, chem, bath, MB, multi-block. Alright. Chemical bath multi-block, there you go. And now with these, we have to turn some of them into a crystallized seed. So we do this recipe, and I'm going to do... How big is... I keep asking this question. How big is our, whatchamacallit, bus over here? I think I used a pretty big bus here, right? Yep, EV input bus. Okay. That one's good to go. Let's go ahead and do it at that recipe size. And that is a LCR item. And then from there, I'm going to bring those downstairs and have those available here. So you are going to need a magenta input. I'm just going to have to use filters, I think, because I don't want to have too many inputs down here. Oops. You need tetranitromethane. Where's the thing that lets you see through the floor? It's just the crescent hammer, right? No? The conduit probe, perhaps? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So into this one, we are putting... We need starlight on white. And we need tetranitromethane on yellow. Or I can use a filter. Yeah, let's just do that. Tetranitromethane on yellow. We're gonna use a filter over here as well. Filter for fluids. Starlight. Okay, so starlight, and you are also going to become yellow now. There we go. So yellow is going to be our input color for fluids that are coming in from our interface. Okay, let's grab an interface now. Where's a point-to-point? We have a point-to-point coming out here, so we can just drop this down here. And how about I have the interface up in the air so I can see it? So interface, we're going to want a dual interface because we want items and fluids. We have conduits here ready to go. So you need item on, let's see, where's item? We're inserting on magenta here, and what are we inserting on over there? Inserting on red. Okay, so let's get some more filters really quick. Filter, regular item filters for this one. We are inserting, wait, hang on, this is fluid. Oh, this must have had the items adjacent to it before. Okay, so items, red, we are inserting the canola empowered seeds. And then over here, red, we are inserting the crystallized seeds. Okay, inside of this interface, we are going to tell it to stock seeds. And then I'm also going to give it a crafting card. This is going to basically be like the level maintainer, and it's going to maintain that stock of items that it needs. Oh, there it is. I was like, do I not have it automated? I was like, pretty sure I do. So crafting card will craft these items if they're not available. Okay, so that should already be working. If I take some seeds out of here, does it refill? Which way is this mixer pointing? Oh yes, we need to actually extract items on red here. There we go. Okay, so that's working. Is this working? That is also working. Okay, good. Those are both working. We need... For the cetane boosted, we don't need any items, but for the advanced chemical reactor over here, we need the tiny piles of lithium. So let's get our lithium tiny pile. You are also going to go in here to be as a level maintainer. And in fact, we can go over here, and I think we can go ahead and take tiny pile of lithium off of that recipe, because now it's going to just be maintained by this interface. Okay, and what else do we need? We need starlight. So starlight and tetranitromethane to come in on yellow. So fluids, we're going to go on to yellow. And we are going to get starlight in the fluid side, and then tetranitromethane. Okay, and those should start filling up. Can't help but notice it's not actually filling up. Did I chop the connection at some point? Here, let me put my shrinking bobble so I can see what's going on under the ground here. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay, this was a facade over here. And then that goes over to oil processing, so I'm going to leave that intact. We need item conduit as well to come over to... item conduit to come over to the one that needs the lithium. Alright, so lithium is going to be on insert on red, and we need a filter as well. Filter for... no, not extract. Insert on red with tiny lithium. Okay, and then turn it on. There it goes. Alright, that's running again. Hey, cool. Okay, and then finally, the last thing we need is... Oh yeah, we needed to reconnect this down here. Okay. So enter fluid conduit. Hang on, really quick. What's happening down here? This extract's on yellow as well. Okay, well, we have everything on yellow filtered, so it should be okay. So go ahead and plug that in. Wait, is it hooked up? What's not hooked up here? The items? I'm confused. What am I looking at here? Something's not hooked up right here. Get my crescent hammer. Okay, I'm gonna make a different tool really quick. It's called the Yeta wrench. It's like the actual proper tool for doing conduit stuff. So now we can look at, okay, item conduit looks good. And you can just scroll mouse wheel. Yeah, fluid conduit. Why are you not connecting? What's your problem? There you go. Okay, there we go. All connected now. I'll keep that one in the uncommon tools. Let me take my bobble off because I don't actually like being tiny. Okay, and we can fill in the floor over here. We don't need this wire going over here. Throw this facade back right there. Get some zag or right here. Alright, nice. Right there as well can also have one. There we go. So now this is getting the fluids it needs directly from our ME storage. Alright. Finally, we want to do... You know, do I want to just go ahead and upgrade these to HV? What is the last step of fuel processing here? Last step of fuel processing is the quadratic... Nequatic? I don't know. Diesel? Diesel? This thing. Nequadriatic. So this is an IV chemical reactor. Ooh, IV, huh? How do I want to handle that? Do I just want to spaghetti a flux point over here, maybe? Not really the worst thing I've ever done. Yeah, why don't I just do that? I mean, it's not like the prettiest, but... Do I have an IV chemical reactor? Oh, I do have an IV chemical reactor. Okay, never mind. I don't even need to make it. So instead of you pumping out the... Okay, you're still going to pump out the diesel, but you're also going to push it in here. And also, I can go over here and go ahead and... Oh, I think we don't want that one overclocked. Right, because this is running off of one generator underneath. Okay. Janky power situations of old. Okay, so we need some liquid enriched naquita. How are we getting that? So we can fluid extract it from our enriched naquita ingots. And I have looked at enriched naquita. There's two ways to get it. So one is we use the 0-point matrix, which we can do with tiny pile of enriched naquita or the tiny pile of nequadria dust. We don't have nequadria yet, but once we have that, that gives us a lot of enriched naquita. But anyways, we can turn the dust into that directly, and this is very slightly cheaper than cooking up an ingot and then extracting it. However, we are getting the ingots from this process, so we already have the ingots. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't like the fact that there's like all sorts of generators over here. Let me just make 2 HV mixers really quick. Hey, wouldn't you know that? I already had 2 HV mixers. Okay. So these are not having to auto output or anything. I'm just going to break these. I know we're going to lose some fluid, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So HV mixer, you go there, you go there. Put the auto output facing downward so that doesn't interfere with anything. You were this recipe, and you were this recipe. Put the extra seeds back in storage. Why are they not getting the oil now, though? Still set to insert. Oh, there they go. Okay. I just like had to look at it. Yeah, that's weird. I had to look at it before it would like reconnect. Okay, so we have HV over there. Underneath, we have a medium voltage transformer over here because I have an HV generator. You really quick, stop receiving fuel because I'm going to steal all of your fuel right now. Yoink. Into storage you go. Alright, so take that guy out. I'm gonna take this generator out as well. Are you like having fuel teleported into you? How are you getting fuel? Oh, I see. Okay. This is why you don't like want to spaghetti your stuff. Then you don't know how anything works. Alright, take that fuel, take this fuel, put it back in storage. Okay, and then we don't need these generators here anymore. Alright, what kind of signalum cables? How many amps of HP do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5 amps. We can just hook up a flux point directly down underneath these guys, but I will need to swap out all the cables over here as well. Okay, let's go over here. I should have the signalum cables as well to do that with. So signalum. Oh yeah, I have a lot of those. Hook you up like that. Get my cable snips going. I don't know where that button came from. Hopefully I don't need it. Wire cutters. Connect you. There. Connect you and there. Hook you two together. And then down here, we are going to have you just run to there. Connect you. And then do I want to extract the fluid here as well? Honestly, kind of. I don't want to be running fluid extractors all over the place, or fluid like extracting in our main base, because we don't have like a multi-block fluid extractor or anything. So let me go ahead and bring item conduit up here. You are going to not connect there. We're going to need a fluid extractor. And HV does work, so we're good on this front. Put you over there. You are inserting on red, but you need to be filtered, so please don't start extracting anything. Okay. Probably should have connected that first. Or filtered it, I mean. So for now, we are just going to cook up Naquita, enrich Naquita. Oh, I don't need to pull that there. I need the filter. Filter. You are an item filter. Enrich Naquita goes in here. And then here, I'm only going to store one enriched Naquita. I don't think I even have the crafting recipe for enriched Naquita. Enriched. No, my system doesn't even know how to make that. Okay, so I can actually up the quantity of items here then. Can I like? Oh, okay. Let me just take a stack from storage. I don't like trying to mess with the quantities in here. Okay, so that should be pulling enriched Naquita as soon as I take that out. Great. Okay. Now we need a flux point down here somewhere. Wire cutters. Let's just stick it down there. Flux point. And plop you down there. You are going to be fuel processing. Okay. Fuel processing is hooked up. Get some conduit facades right here. And then we need some zag covers. Cover. Alright, and then some more zag blocks back here. Alright, looking good. If I wanted, I could even bury that line there, but that's fine. Okay, so there goes the enriched Naquita. Let's stick it into our mixer. Or chemical reactor, rather. And then the last thing we need is alumentum. So, alumentum. And how many do you use at a time? You use one at a time. Okay, well, let's just put, 9, sure. I think it crafts 9 at a time. Yeah, crafts 9 at a time. Okay. Great. So now, alumentum. If I take alumentum out of our system, if I take all of this away, it should craft more, right? To refill that interface. So it should just start crafting that. Yep, there it goes. It crafted more. Great. All right. This is looking good. And then we need to insert alumentum over here. Okay. Forgot about that piece. I guess if this is coming up the front here, we don't need the conduits going under the ground there. All right, last step. Filter. Filter for alumentum to insert here. All right, and you should start receiving alumentum. Oh, and this needs power, right? I forgot about that one. Actually, we can power this with the same cable, right? I totally didn't think to do that. I can put a signalum cable here. Signalum. Signalum cable, wire cutter. Let's move our flux point. Do I want to go get it? Can I reach it from here? Hang on. How lazy can we be? I can see it, but I can't quite reach it from here. Okay. Shrinking trinket. There we go. Alright, we can put this here now, and that's going to power both the chemical reactor and the HV machines. And then let me get a cover for that as well. Cover. Plop that there. It should still allow power transmission. Are you still getting power? You are indeed still getting power. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's our first necroadriatic fuel, whatever it's called. Hey, there goes. Woo! Wow, amazing. So this fuel is 20 times more dense than the other fuel, I believe. So this is 45 KEU, whereas the nitro diesel we've been using is 2.5K. So actually, yeah, close to 20 times denser. It's actually like 18 times denser, but still, that is crazy density. And what we're going to do is we are going to take our fuel tank over here. Okay, I do need to still have nitro diesel for our mana, so let me think about that for a second. Let me put fuel tank up here. So we're going to go up. So that is auto outputting nitro diesel that is freshly crafted into there. Let us, whoops. Go ahead and just do like a pipe here. Like good old-fashioned item pipe. Let's use a blue one. Yeah, I like blue. Auto output. So now this is going to be topped off from that tank. But we also need, oh, here's a different idea. Okay. Hold on one second. Move you back one moment. I'm going to use an item, ender conduit here instead. Oops, didn't mean to put that there. Frick. Insert on red with the filter. Okay, that's the same filter, still good. Fluid conduit. I need another transfer node. Wireless transfer node. We are going to prioritize this transfer node, priority 1. And then this one is going to be priority 0. You're going to extract always, and you're going to turn round robin off. So that should fill up with nitro diesel. And we're going to give this the GPS of the mana setup, which is that one, I believe. Yeah, I see it over there. So you will continue sending mana, nitro diesel for mana, and you are going to be our fuel delivery buddy. So let's put... So cyan was going over there? Okay, so let's put a ender fluid conduit here. You are now going to extract on cyan. That was our previous fuel output color. And now we just need a new tank over here for that. And I kind of want to switch the tank type over here to a black hole tank, so let me do that. So black hole tank. Gonna go ahead and grab all the nitro diesel. Alright, replace it with the black hole tank now. And then now we have this quantum tank for our new type of fuel. And that should start filling up with quadriatic fuel. Woo, there we go, okay. So I'm going to set this very low transfer rate because we don't have a lot, and I want to make sure it's sending the fuel out evenly to all of the source destinations. Let me go grab the fuel that I can, and with that, that's going to be our fuel upgraded. So that you should get the new fuel now, please. Why is it not working? How's our power? Our power is fine to be off for a couple seconds. Okay. Why are you not sending diesel, though? Oh, this is not on auto output. Okay. Auto output, go. There it goes. It is now sending the diesel over here. And now it runs one cycle every 9 seconds. And how much fuel is it using? It's using 64L every 9 seconds. Good. Okay. So that is now 20 times denser. And hopefully this is going to drain significantly slower than our nitro diesel's been draining. What's our bottleneck right now is this step right here. So if we need to, we can power up this step, I think. Like if I had a, do I have a stronger extractor? I do not. No, I do not. Okay. So if I wanted to increase the speed of this, also let me take this bobble off. If I wanted to increase the speed of this, I could just put another cable here um, coming off of this flux point, and then make this twice as fast. But right now, honestly, we're okay. Right now, we are taking 26 seconds to produce one set of fuel. Wait, no, hold on. 26 seconds to produce 3,000, but it's not 26 seconds. It is for 144. So 1,000 divided by 144 times 26. Okay, it's about 3 minutes per 3 buckets. So we're making 1 bucket per minute right now. How much are we using? We are using 175 divided by 20, so 8.75 times 64 times 4. Oh, we're using like twice as much. Okay, so we need to make this extractor much faster. Okay. So we need an IV extractor. Shouldn't take too long to cook that up. And then to connect the cable here, I am going to put, very carefully, I'm going to put so I don't blow the damn machine up. IV was stellar alloy, right? So we're going to put stellar alloy, connect it to this guy. Okay. Actually, we can go ahead and connect it. No, I'm scared to connect it now. Okay, I'm going to wait. Okay, please stop running. Insert on green. Okay, well, this needs to run. This needs to run one more cycle real quick. Well, I can help speed it up. Take the other ingot out of there too before it pulls that one as well. Alright, so take you out. We are going to make our new extractor now. Stick you in here. We can connect the wire now. I'm like, how's it getting power? It has HV line under it, I forgot about. Alright, reconnect that. Now it's getting power from this line, right? Why does the power input seem really low? Sir, do you have enough power to run? I am slightly unsure. No, why are you, what is going on with power back here? We have power. So I am confusion. Are you not outputting on that line for some reason? Hey, what are you doing? Flux point, what are you doing? Oh, wait, hang on. Now that I think about it, there is a limit on machines receiving input. They can only receive a certain number of amps. So, there we go. Now it should be good. Yeah, it was just giving it HV amps instead of IV amps. Now it's fine. Alright, so now instead of taking however long it was taking, let me see how long that was. Instead of taking 26 seconds, it should be taking 26.4 divided by 4. It should be taking 6.6. So now if we do 1,000 divided by 144 times 6.6, so we should be making 3,000, 3 buckets of this every 46 seconds. Okay, that's much more. much more manageable. And I think if we want, we can get the 0 point matrix. 0 point matrix. This guy. What do we need to make this? We need CPM stuff. Well, this would actually be a good multi-block for us because we can just turn all of our enriched Naquita dust into... we have a lot of that. We can just turn it straight into fluid, and we don't have to process a whole ton of it, so... What, is this used for anything else? I think the only thing I saw that enriched Naquita was used for was... the foils are used for trinium coils. So... yeah, okay, cool. And how's our fusion doing over here? Should have a good amount. Okay, we have almost 1,000 buckets of Starlight coolant plasma. That's great. We're probably going to need a dedicated fusion reactor to run our new diesel generators once we make them. But in the meantime, we could just store up a bunch of this right now. We're going to have to make some europium before we can go to ZPM age. I'm not sure if I'm going to make another reactor or another fusion reactor, or we're just going to go to ZPM. I think, oh, you know what? I think we're going to upgrade our power first, and then we'll worry about what we're doing next, because I was very power starved while I was crafting the fusion reactor. It was kind of awful. Anyways, how's our fuel doing over here? Okay, slowly going up. We should be using it much more slowly than... or we should be using it a little bit more slowly than we're making it now. So this should stock up overnight. Hopefully I haven't made any critical errors, and then I log on in the morning and it's like, hey, everything's jammed. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. If we end up needing more nitro diesel, which I don't think we're going to, our new bottleneck is basically getting the enriched Naquita. That's our current bottleneck for this process. But, yeah, I look forward to seeing how much fuel we have in here when I get on in the morning, and then next time we will worry about upgrading our power. But for now, that's going to be it for today's episode. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We could also make liquid helium with these vacuum freezers right here, huh? I guess I could totally do that. Because, like, we're not going to need the liquid oxygen anymore. How's our liquid helium doing anyways? Are we keeping up? That is a good question. I didn't actually do the math. We do appear to be keeping up, so we're not going to run out, I don't think. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.